My name is Krista, and I use the presence and essence of flowers along with the tarot to deliver messages to help you align to your most authentic and abundant nature and path. Okay, I feel so much better with this frame of reference here, because I would much prefer to feel like I can speak in a normal tone of voice, and I felt like I was shouting to you, so I had to adjust that. But okay, for today's video, I feel called to offer you my wisdom on how you can create a YouTube channel for your tarot gifts, for your own personal unique oracle that will fully encompass all of who you are. It won't make you compromise who you are at all, and it's exactly what the world needs. We need you to be you. So there are a few things I wrote down, a few little checkpoints, I guess. And the first one is trust in who you are, your unique point of view. So we need, every single person, there are so many YouTube channels, tarot channels out there, and every single person that does a channel has their own unique texture and fingerprint that they can emit into the world. And this includes your wisdom, this includes your life experience, this includes your knowledge, this includes everything that encompasses who you are. And so your oracle is going to be an expression of all of you. And so it's okay to express yourself within the tarot channel. Of course, all of the tarot cards have their own, universal meanings, but we get to give meaning to each and every single tarot card on our own, whether that's from, gleaning information from other tarot readers and it resonating, and we saying, oh yeah, I remember that, the Six of Cups is about soulmates because, Kino Tarot said that a lot. And I took that and it resonated with me. So I was like, okay, yeah, Six of Cups, soulmate energy. We're going to throw that on top of the childhood stuff. But ultimately, we need your unique thumbprint. We need you to be you. For instance, I think I could see how someone would get hung up, and I've thought I haven't really let it hang me up too much, but I've thought about it before. I don't know a ton about astrology. I know the basics, I know what each sign pretty much means and how it's interpreted. I know a little, I dabble here and there, but I don't know everything. So that's not, people don't come to me for the astrological viewpoints, and I don't pull in from astrology too much, a little, but not too much. And I think my strength is the fact that I have been on a roller coaster of a human journey when it comes to my connection with the divine, when it comes to my mental health, when it comes to, processing darkness and walking through darkness, and processing heavier energies and turning them into alchemizing them into love and positivity and benefit, that is my strength. So, and I'm a Reiki healer, and so I'm going to take my strengths and bring it into what I'm creating for you when I use tarot. Tarot is just the tool. What I have to offer you is something that only I can offer you. It is unique to me. The energy and frequencies which the energies and frequencies that come through me may be universal, but the way in which I transmit them has their own wavelength, and that's only going to resonate with certain people. That's not going to resonate with everybody. So I guess ultimately my advice for you is to figure out, what are your strengths? What do you feel confident in any aspect of life? And bring that to the table. How can I really truly serve people the best? Tarot aside, as a human being, how can you serve people the best? And figure that out. And so every time you go to do a reading or, create a video, you are recognizing that what you're channeling to that person is something that is useful and something that is something that is transformative to them, something that that can really truly like spread joy and love and truth to whoever's on the other end of the reading or the screen. So just remember that you have gifts that nobody else has. You can interpret your like universal truths in your own unique way, and that's what we need. Another thing I wanted to say earlier, I was thinking, sometimes we have like weird interests, and for some reason like giraffes came to my mind, and I was like, okay, so what if someone's like obsessed with giraffes? What would they do to incorporate giraffes into their readings? And I was like, oh, maybe they would get like a little giraffe like figurine or like stuffy, and that would be a part of every single reading. And then that giraffe would eventually start to take on a consciousness of its own, and you'd like the giraffe itself would like interpret messages and like bring messages in. Like every once in a while the giraffe would like take your attention, and you'd be like, oh, I feel like the giraffe has to say something. And eventually it really would be like you are channeling wisdom from the spirit of giraffe. So if there's an animal that you're obsessed with, or like for me it's flowers. Like the idea, like I'm obsessed with flowers and so I use flowers and their consciousness to help me interpret messages. And I find it so fun that every single time I get to go to a reading, I get to go and pick out the flowers I'm going to use, and I get to listen and have a relationship with flowers, especially when I get to pick them from the wild. I get to go out and like let them call me in, and then they come into the reading. It's like a willing kind of thing from the flowers, and it's super cool. It just makes it more alive. So whatever you're interested in, just get creative, and figure that out. So is that everything from that little checkpoint? We're at trust in who you are, your unique point of view. Okay, so next what I want to talk to you about is honoring your oracle. So this is where like integrity starts to come in. What you're doing when you're using tarot is you have a responsibility to have integrity within that space. So this means that you are not always going to say the things that you think that people want to hear. You're going to say the things that are channeled through you from the divine, channeled through you from your guides, channeled through you from a place of integrity. And sometimes that's like gonna feel a little uncomfortable. Sometimes you're gonna have energies or messages come through that feel like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to tell this person this, even though it's usually, you can always soften the blow, but like it's just truth. That's all it is. It's just truth. And we have to, as a tarot community, have more integrity, because I have noticed a lot of channels that, especially when they're doing love readings, I notice that there can be, it's kind of sticky, because while on one hand you have to trust your audience to be able to use your oracle responsibly, on the other hand, you still do have a responsibility to make sure that what you're presenting to the best of your ability can't be used to create a sense of delusion in the recipient. So I just noticed that a lot with love readings. Like we're going in and we're asking, like a lot of people are asking, like, how do they feel? What are their thoughts? And like we're really, it feels like prying sometimes. Like it's like you're prying into another like energy of another person, and you are like extracting information there. And I don't know, I don't touch that, to be honest. Like I think doing love readings is beautiful, and tapping into like the current of I guess the overall energy of one's love life and potential is beautiful, and I think perfectly fine. But I think it's a little sketchy when we start to pry into other people's energy, if that makes sense. Like what I do for my oracle, like sometimes I will like love, like I don't actually usually offer love readings. Like a lot of my readings are more about your life path, like building abundance, aligning to your highest nature, aligning to your purpose. Those are what most of my readings are about. But sometimes a love reading will pop in the middle of like messages that are like, what do you need to hear right now? Sometimes it's a love reading. And I'm just sure to, it's like, I feel like when you come to channel, like you have your oracle and you can put stipulations on your oracle that are in line with like whatever makes you feel like you're in integrity with the divine or with your guides or however it works for you. But so what I do is I say, like internally, I'm coming with, I don't want to channel something if it's none of my business to channel. So I'm leaving that up to the divine. They can, like, there's a filter around me and I'm cool with that. I'm not going to go and dig and try. Well, I could do that. Like we could all do that. Go and dig and like find some information that, maybe isn't useful for us to hold or isn't useful for our own hearts and our own journey, and for us to be able to move forward in our love journey with self-confidence and like not relying on messages that are coming through to give us that comfort, but relying on our inner strength to give us the comfort when it comes to finding love. So I hope that makes sense. I feel like I've been rambling, but I hope that makes sense. I mean, there's a lot I could say about honoring your oracle. It's an extension of who you are. It's vulnerable to being exploited. It's vulnerable to you even. I've done it, like where you just like, for me, I want to grow my YouTube channel. Of course, like if any of us have a YouTube channel, we want it to grow. So a lot of times I would push myself to create videos when I was exhausted sometimes I would, like one time I did create a video where it was a love reading, and it was like, how do they feel? And I did the whole reading, and it was one of those, like, you kind of pry into like what the other energy of the other person is feeling and thinking. And I did that because like one of the reasons was like, oh, at least it'll get a lot of views, and I kept it up for a couple weeks, but I did not feel comfortable with it. So I actually just deleted that video. So, this is not to shame anybody who does readings like that. I think there are a lot that stay in integrity, like in particular, Kino Tarot and Aso Tarot. I feel like they stay in pretty solid alignment and integrity and give really good advice, and they create like a structure around their videos that does involve making sure to like give all sides of the spectrum, and whoa, go away. And making sure to put like caveats and disclaimers within the structure of it. And I find that to be very like aligned and full of integrity. So I'm not shaming anybody, but I think I'm just trying to remind you to just check that a little bit sometimes. And sometimes it's just better to like, what do you want the person to get from your video? Do you want them to just feel happy and delulu la la land? Like, or do you want them to really feel like they took away something that they can carry that will help them on their soul journey, that has not necessarily nothing to do with this other person or this relationship that they're looking for, but like it really gives them that sense of resolve that whether or not this relationship with this person works out or not, or whether it goes in the way I hope it does, I'm gonna be okay. Like that's kind of, I feel like making sure that's included is really important. So my third point is to trust your audience. So your audience is intelligent. Your audience is, a lot of times they've had readings done before, and they know the structure of it. They know, especially in, like, people are just smart. Like if it's a universal reading, people are going to know, like, some of this might not be for me, and that's okay. And I simply am going to take what resonates and walk forward with it. And that's all right, So I think a lot of times I see readers trying to like, and I do this too, it's really bad sometimes, but trying to make sure the message can go so wide and be interpreted in so many different scenarios, when the original, just like the energy and frequency of the message and the symbolism within the message that you originally present, people are smart enough to figure that out. People are smart enough to be like, oh, that's not my specific scenario, but I can see how that, the energy of that and the message inherent in like the idiom of it, the metaphor of it can relate to me. And I'm going to take that, because if you're channeling in a way that is truly connected, then what is going to come through is going to hit in a subtle, energetic way more than anything. And the words are just words. I think it just comes down to trusting the unique way in which you transmit messages through your own voice and point of view, and trusting that the person on the other side who is receiving the message can translate that into a way that resonates to the core of who they are. So don't get hung up on all the specifics or trying to be super inclusive to everyone, because it's not going to be. It's just like, you're not going to be. As a reader, you're not going to be resonant with everyone. You're going to have a certain like sphere around you that feels aligned with your oracle and with the wisdom you have to give. And that's beautiful. And that's why that kind of helps us get out of any idea that we are in competition with anybody, because what you have to offer is truly a unique, I mean, it's real. It's not just like this frou-frou like tarot reading offering that's a little different from everyone else's. Like, it's a real energetic signature that people will either resonate with or they won't. And so you have to stay true to you. Like, we need your energetic signature and your wisdom. We need you to pull in life experience from your life. We need your voice to come through in this like beautiful, powerful, potent way. And if we're worrying about resonating with everybody, then we're going to lose it. And it's going to be like, that's not going to help you grow your channel. So even if your messages feel super specific, like maybe that's what we need. You know, maybe sometimes we do need more specific, toned in messages about a specific area of life, maybe, or I don't know, maybe that's your gift, just being more specific. But yeah, just find that current and follow it, and trust that the audience is gonna get it, period. And lastly, have fun. So I have a lot of fun with my YouTube videos. Like, the way I came up with my with the little flower and using flowers in my video, I did not plan this at all. It literally dropped from the sky into my being, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna create a tarot reading YouTube channel, and I'm gonna call it, the name just dropped into my head. I'm gonna call it like at first it was called Little Flower Tarot. I'm gonna call it Little Flower Tarot because I deeply resonate with this saint, Saint Therese of Lisieux, and they called her the Little Flower, and I really felt like I feel like she has something to do with this, honestly. I mean, literally, the channel is called her name. But yeah, it dropped into my being, and I just knew, oh, flowers. Of course I'm going to use flowers. Why wouldn't I use flowers? I'm obsessed with flowers. I love flowers. I draw flowers on everything. All of my clothes have flowers on them. Like, of course I worked in this beautiful, amazing, huge flower garden when I was like 19 to 21. And I just love flowers, period. And so I was like, of course I'm going to use flowers and their energy and their consciousness in all the readings, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to keep things alive. Like, having to go and get flowers every single time and do the whole setup, it's fun, So that was how it literally just came to me. So if you're wondering how you can make a unique channel that feels like aligned and authentic, then all you have to do is open up to it, and the divine will drop that into your mind and your spirit and your being. And maybe you'll go get a little draft plushie, and that will be like your little guide throughout all of your readings. You know what I mean? So like, just be open and make it fun. Whatever's fun for you is going to be fun for other people. So that's my advice. So I think this is it. I feel like I rambled on and on and on, but luckily there is such thing as editing, so I will edit this down. Yeah, I think that's everything. So, okay, leave a comment if this resonated, and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about, I was kind of worried when I was talking about like the love readings and stuff. Like, I don't want people to feel judged for doing love readings. I think, again, it's just a reminder to like make sure we don't want to feed into the energy of delusion that exists within, especially the online tarot YouTube community. I know it can, and limerence is a word. Like limerence is this thing where you can like create like a parasocial relationship with someone and think you're in a relationship that you're not, and you could like watch videos about it, and it creates a situation where you're not on the ground and where you're not, you know, like really doing the work to get yourself to where you want to be to attract. Oh my God, I just realized, look at this. Look at it. I've been like randomly looking down at this. Look at the heart. Wait, see if I can get it to focus. Oh, look at that. I've been randomly looking down at that and seeing the heart, and it's just been like, oh yeah, there's a heart there, whatever. But then it's like, oh yeah, that's super cool. Anyway, I think you get what I'm saying about the love readings. But yeah, comment down below if you have some thoughts on that. I'd love to have a conversation about that and see how we can move forward as a community with like in responsibility when it comes to love readings. So I think that is everything. Thank you so much for being here. Stay and listen to my outro for all the ways in which I can offer you healing and truth and guidance. So, all right. Yep. Thanks. Bye. All right, my lovely human. If you'd like to be supported by me more deeply through powerful energy healing transmissions that serve as monthly anchor points to keep you grounded and aligned to your most fulfilling and abundant path, along with access to a growing collection of exclusive soulful pick a flower readings, I'd be honored to have you in the sacred space of my Little Flower Patreon community. My intention is for this space to be a spiritual lifeline to healing, clarity, and soul alignment. A sacred container that leaves you feeling free and safe to unfold into your most authentic and abundant nature. I've made this accessible at just $8 per month, intentionally so as the number 8 symbolizes abundance, balance, and unity. If you feel called, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to the Little Flower YouTube channel, as all of these exchanges help not only for my channel growth, but for me to feel connected to the fabric of the community who finds their way into the energetic space I've created. Feel free to browse my single infinite prayer energy healing transmissions, check out my adorable merch featuring my bee and flowers logo and the phrase, "Hello, lovely human," and leave me a tip, or in other words, buy me a coffee if you feel called to. I sometimes offer personal readings, so be on the lookout for open slots for those as well. Everything you'll need is listed in the description box below. Last but not least, I have another YouTube channel called Soul Hearken, which is my heart and soul in video form. If you feel called to it, I'd be honored to have you over there as well. With so much gratitude, I send you prayers of happiness, peace, health, and wealth. You are honored and loved.